Is this going to be traumatic rewatching my injury?
Taken by Jenna. Cavino.
Didn't even realise when it was in the game. It was really close to halftime, wasn't it? I remember we were doing well because like Comets was quite a strong team and they'd gotten a red card, so I really thought we could win it.
Siggy Harrowing.
Oh yeah, there I go. You can see how much I flop, hey? No wonder the ref thought I was faking. Oh my God.
Hodgson's down.
Oh my God. Oh no, she's still down. Oh, they keep playing. Oh my God, you can see Dylan. She's so mad. At the time, like when I first I went straight to like emergency, like sports doctor, and I was trying to explain that someone stepped on my foot, and I was like so sure that someone had stepped on my foot, like that was the feeling. And I remember sitting in the doctor's office and we were looking over the video, and it was kind of that moment we realised that nobody touched me, that the doctor was like, oh, well, if that's the feeling, then it could possibly be the Lisfranc's ligament. And at the time I didn't really know what that meant. And then I was kind of going back to wishing someone just stepped on my foot, because it wouldn't have been as bad of an injury if it was just, you know, a bruise on the top of the foot. But I remember, yeah, at the time I just thought someone had crunched me, and then I think I came off, and then I was trying to put some weight on it to see if I could play the second half, and like it just was blowing up instantly, and I just knew straight away that it wasn't good, and I left at halftime and went straight to the doctors because I just knew. The good thing was my team did go on to win, so. Like I actually remember walking out of service when I hurt my foot and I was hobbling to the car, and Mel Mullen has walked through, and I think Sean was walking through, and both of them just stopped and looked at me, and they're like, what happened? And I was like, oh, I've hurt my foot. And they're like, no, you'll be okay, you've just been stepped on, like all really positive. And then like a couple of days later they messaged me and were like, are you having surgery? And I was like, yeah. And they were just, you know, we all in the NPL, we all, you know, battle against each other, but at the end of the day, we want to be playing A-League together. So, you know, it was Comets, and Chrissy's at Comets, and even she was like, what's happened at halftime? She was trying to talk to me because, yeah, I think people know that when players go down and stay down, that something bad has happened. So I was speaking to the doctor there, and just at Wakefield, and he happened to be affiliated with the Crows a little bit, so he knew a lot about sport injuries, and he just kind of mentioned this ligament, but he was like, oh, I'm not really sure if it is, etc. So then, you know, it takes a little while to get MRIs and then see a doctor again, and then I had to get a CT. So it probably was 2 or 3 days before I knew exactly what happened. And then it was literally like a day later that I saw the foot surgeon, and then it was like instantly booked in to get the surgery. So within like 4 days, I went from playing to had surgery. So it was really, really quick, which was good for recovery, but it didn't really hit what happened until like I was suddenly recovering from surgery. So it's a Lisfranc's ligament, which is like a ligament in your foot, the bottom of your foot. And in layman's terms, it's pretty much the ligament that holds the bones together. So without it, your foot is kind of unstable. So they have surgery to put a plate on top of it so the ligament can heal with the bones in the right place. The injury happened literally a week before pre-season started, so it was like just like the worst possible time. I was getting really ready to start pre-season, had been training really hard to get fit and ready for pre-season, and then that was probably going to be the last game of the NPL I was going to play in, so it was like the worst timing.
Go out of that, and then
Here's the baby. Is this the first one?
Well, the photos aren't in order.
That was cute. That's my best friend's babies, and obviously when I hurt myself, I couldn't be on my feet, so they came over for some dopamine hit and just brought the babies to make me smile, which was nice. But yeah, there's 2 of them, a boy and a girl, and that's the boy. And they came over.
So they're obviously very important.
Yeah, well, they were only born in April, so they were kind of like new commodity. And then when I was injured, I was just like, come over and hang out with me. So I couldn't drive I think I was in the boot for 3 weeks, or just under, so I couldn't really drive. and obviously for like the first week and a half, I couldn't really put pressure on my foot. So, which is so hard. And I live upstairs in a house too. So I was just hobbling so bad. So yeah, I couldn't work for pretty much 3 weeks, which is hard, but luckily I've got work that can handle it. But it just becomes super isolating when you can't work or drive to go to training. So you just kind of sit at home like all day, especially when like pre-season's just started. Everyone's like really excited to be back, and I'm just like not at training, which was like so annoying. But I tried to make an effort to go out and get people to come pick me up, or like my mum drove me out a couple of times, which was really nice. But it's just hard when you're meant to be really excited and you're actually having like the worst time because you've just hurt yourself, just had surgery. I was in a lot of pain, and I was just like, you know, you wait all year for the A-League to start and then you're just watching from home pretty much. But yeah, Sense was super supportive, and, you know, being like, we want you to come out as much as you want, but we understand if you do need time to not be out every training, because it's great to be around the girls, but then it is a bit isolating to go out there and just sit and watch. So yeah, they were lovely with trying to work out how it best to work for me, how much I wanted to go or how much I wanted to stay. Yeah.
Keep going to the end.
Like I said, because it's a Lisfranc ligament that holds your bones together, I needed to have a CT, and that would pretty much work out if my bones were stable or not. So I had to stand there still and hope that both feet looked the same, like the millimeters between each bone. So that was kind of the big test, I guess, because if my foot was stable, I wouldn't have to have surgery. So I remember going into that being like, it's fine, I can put weight on it, it's definitely stable. Turns out it wasn't. So then, yeah, literally like a day after that, I went into surgery. So I had surgery at Burnside with Dr. Ben Beamon, who's great, and Illick was in there as well, which is always nice to have a face that you know when you're about to go under, you look up and Illick is there. So, oh yeah, I took some videos of me posing in the mirror. Yeah, so I think I think at the time when I first was having the surgery, there was a bit of confusion, not confusion, but just, I didn't really know how long I'd be out for. So kind of in my head, I was thinking maybe a couple of months and I'll be playing, you know, before Christmas, or I'll be playing in December. So I think that was something that was really hard throughout this injury, was consistently being told it was going to be later than what it was. Like the first injury, it was kind of like, oh, it'll be 6 weeks. And then it was like, oh, okay, surgery, maybe it'll be 2 months. Before Christmas, you'll be playing before Christmas. And then just kind of as the foot kept going, it was like, well, now actually you're not going to be able to train on it till you get the plate out. You're not going to get the plate out to December. So then it just kind of kept getting moved back and moved back. So that was hard, but maybe at the time it was nice, because in September I just was thinking I'd be back in a couple of months. But, you know, there's people who say you can play with the plate in, and people that say not to play with the plate in. So when I first got the plate in, I assumed I was keeping it in till the end of season. And then it was just a case of my foot getting better and being able to handle load again with the plate in. So I was running on like anti-gravity machines or in water or things like that, to try and build up to back onto the field with the plate in. But it quickly came aware that it was too painful to run with the plate in, and then my surgeon was like, I don't want you running with the plate in. So that kind of probably happened in November, because I knew then I had about 4 weeks till I got the plate out. So that kind of threw a spanner in the works. Then I was like, well, it's surgery again, which means, you know, take the plate out, 2 weeks off, then I've got to build myself back up again, and now we're in January. So that was kind of tough, but I think at the end of the day, it was better to get the plate out. I knew it was the right decision, and, you know, in the long run, my foot's super important, so I don't want to rush it. And then, you know, in a couple of years' time, have really bad issues with my feet. So, yeah, I definitely tried to do exactly what was right, but it was a bit of a hit in November when I was told I had to get it out, because, you know, you do so much recovery and you have a plan in your head about how it's going to go. And when it doesn't go that way, you're just like, why did I even bother working hard in my rehab when now it's a month later, or, you know, I was worried I was going to get the plate out and then, you know, still be in pain, and then suddenly the season's over. So that was tough, but I think it was the right decision to get it out in the end. It's funny when I look back on these photos of me just like balancing on my foot, like that was such a big moment. I remember in October that I was like, I could stand on my foot, which is crazy to think about because now I'm like running around and kicking a ball, but just to like balance, you don't really think about how much little movements your foot does when it tries to balance. And like, I remember just being like, wow, I can stand on my foot, like, and I didn't fall over. And I look so unsteady still too, but I guess that was a good thing, especially with calf raises. Everyone pays me out that I don't have any calves, which is fair. Like I don't, like, if you ever look at any photos, it's a fair call. And then I couldn't do a calf raise for like 3 months. So I was like, well, if you think I have small calves before, they're even worse now. But yeah, like such little things of like doing a calf raise. I remember at the time I took this video to send to Emily, the physio, to be like, oh my God, I did a calf raise today. She's like, yeah. And I was like, it's crazy. Like, how good's that? And it was like, it's just a calf raise. But at the time, it means so much when you like can actually see like an improvement. Obviously this is November, so I still have the plate in at the moment, but yeah, it just felt good to be able to move my foot a little bit. Yeah, so that was post-surgery, yes. Then I had surgery, because then I was cleared to run on the grass, yes, with Emily. I look so awkward running my foot. I remember running, and it's so funny because like that was, I reckon that was like just before, like the 30th of December, so it was like just before the new year. And that was my goal was to run, I say run on land because for ages I was running on a gravity machine. So in my head I was like, run on land before the new year, like that was my goal. So that was nice to be able to get it in on the 30th of December. I was cutting it close, but I got there in the end. I thought as soon as the plate would come out that the pain would go away because I was told the plate is causing the pain. So I did the first run and didn't do a lot. And I got through and I was like, okay, like tick the box. And I think the next day I did the next level of running and I was in so much pain. And I just remember getting really frustrated by it because I'd planned in my head that it was gonna be fine now, like the plate's out, the pain's gone, you'll build up to playing really quickly now, like the hard part's over. And then it just wasn't. And I remember just sitting there after and I was just like so angry and I could just feel it. And all the girls were coming up being like, yeah, you've trained, you've run. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be like miserable in front of them. But I was just like, yeah, I did. But I knew deep down it wasn't a successful training session for me or for how I wanted my foot to feel. So it was like, it was such a happy time, but at the time I was like, I have to really readjust my expectations of how this section of the rehab's gonna go. Like, it's not gonna be all smooth sailing and pain-free and, you know, each week I'll be building and building. It's actually gonna be hard and some days are gonna be really sore and some days aren't, but yeah, I would get really excited that I got through training and passed the ball and then the next day I couldn't walk and I'd just be angry again because then I've got to drop back in the rehab. So it was really up and down for the first couple of weeks, which is hard because you get your hopes up and you get excited at a good training session and then the next training session you're like, oh, back to reality, I actually can't do what I wanted to do. But then thankfully after 2 or 3 weeks that changed and everything kind of started to progress that way I wanted to. So thankfully, because I was a bit worried for a while there that it wasn't, but yeah, so then I think I got to start to do a bit of training. There's video here of me training at my local oval near my house. It's my dad. So the team I think was away. They must have had that couple of away trips in a row where they were away for a week or so. So we had to do a bit of training individually. So I did my running, and then it was ball work, and I was like, to my mum and dad, I was like, can one of you come out and help me? So Dad took it very seriously, and he did a good job. My mum filming as well was a whole family affair. They were so funny. But yeah, it was nice for them to get around it a little bit, because they're, been part of my soccer journey for such a long time, and have been with me through all the injuries as well. Like, my mum's a huge soccer fan. Like, she's been to away games that I haven't even been at. Like, she was at the Sydney FC game with Dylan's comeback. So, and she was at the Perth away. So she, like, the team is her team as well. So I think for her it's been tough to not see me be playing, especially because, I'm probably not the nicest person at home when I'm not having a good day with my foot. I can probably come home and take it out on my parents a little bit, or I'm just grumpy if I come home from training and it hasn't gone well. But they've been so sweet and trying to support me as much as they can, and yeah, it was funny to get them out on doing the ball work, which is nice. And then Eleni was also my coach at the time there too, we were doing a bit more like harder running, so she was with a S&C background sending me for laps, and I was dying, but in the end of the day it was going to be good. But yeah, I've had such good support from like my friends and family to get me through it, just like my friends bringing over the babies, or going to the gym and doing off-legs gym conditioning with Eleni, which is just insane, like rowing and ski ergs or swimming, whatever it is that I could do that wasn't running. They've all kind of been super supportive, which I don't think I would have been able to do it without them, because I probably would have just given up a little bit. It's hard when things don't always go the way you want to, and they are harder than you expect, or you get a certain outcome in your head and it doesn't get achieved in the time frame that, I don't know, you've decided on. It's always nice to get some perspective from outside people and people who've known you for a really long time, which was good. There's some more of me juggling the ball. That was the first time I could juggle, because obviously kicking a ball like that is right where the plate used to be. So there was a long time that I couldn't, even just juggle a ball, which is something you kind of take for granted when you play soccer for so long. When you're standing around, you pick a ball up with your foot. And for a really long time, I had to not do that, but that was nice. Oh, now we're at training. Oh gosh. Was it a good training? I don't know. I don't remember what I did. You don't know how much you miss it, or like, not even miss it, but just like how much of a privilege it is to get to go out every day and like play with your friends. Like, I think that's such a big thing about our team as well, is that we're all friends. So it's not just like come out and do a job. It's like you actually come out and have a lot of fun, and when you're in the drills, you're bantering with, the team or the coaching staff, or you're giving Sense a hard time because he's counting wrong, or like you're just having fun out there. So when you're doing rehab by yourself and you're just running up and down the sideline by yourself, it's super isolating, and nobody plays soccer to run, they play soccer to play soccer. So, you're getting the worst side, you're getting running, conditioning, and by yourself. So I was just excited to be around everyone again and remember what it's like to play soccer and hang out with everybody and have fun, and hopefully didn't mess up too much with my first one with the camera there. But I don't know, I say this to our S&C Luke, is like I'd rather suffer by myself and then come in and be better. Like, I don't want to suffer and be under conditioned in front of everybody else. I want to come in a good like physical state and to run, and I feel like running's a big part of the type of player I am. Is that's usually what I bring to the team, is I can get up and down a wing quite easily. So to have to try and bring that back after such a long time has been hard, especially when a lot of the conditioning is by yourself. It's very self-motivated when you're doing rehab, but so far I'm okay. Ask me after I play a game. I feel like no matter how much training you do, you're never going to be the same until you play a game. So maybe let's ask that after I get some minutes. I might be like, that was so hard. But to be fair, the running side of it at training has been okay. It's more just getting my feet to move as fast as my brain wants them to, especially when at the beginning my foot was still a little bit sore, so just trying to get my feet moving. But I feel like each training it's getting better and better, which is nice. So come out and film me now instead of this one. Yeah, so I mean, I played a little bit of minutes in the trial match against Raiders boys or something during the FIFA break. So I think now I just want to make sure that I'm at the level I need to be at to play A-League. Obviously it's very different than playing an internal against a boys team, but yeah, I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple of weeks I can get selected to play, but I mean, it's hard. The team's playing really well, and when you're winning games, it's hard to break into a team, but just a goal of mine is just to get back to playing at a level that I want to be playing at, moving and running freely and pain-free, and if I can get a game, that'd be great, but I also know that, you know, if we're winning and doing well, it's hard to get into it, so, but hopefully at some point I will.
And obviously you're still part of the leadership group, and Ella's taken on the captaincy on the park while you've been off. How have you seen that whole leadership side?
Yeah, so that was a big thing that Stens and I spoke about kind of at the start of the season when we realised that my injury was going to be long. He was just kind of speaking about how I wanted to be still involved, and he still wanted to you know, trust me with the captaincy, even though I wasn't maybe going to be on the field as many times as I would have normally. So it's something we kind of spoke about, and he just kind of asked me to make sure that was something that I still wanted. He was very happy if I wanted to step down in the fact of focusing on myself with my rehab. And then obviously Dylan hurt herself as well in pre-season, so kind of that was the person that was going to initially take that role, especially on the field. So we did have to look to the next in line, which was Ella, but I think it's been a great opportunity for her. I think it's shown that she was ready for it. She kind of went into being you know, a vice captain to now leading out the team each week, but I think she's done tremendously well, and I think the team could agree with that. So it's kind of, it's a different view, but I've always tried to do what I can off the field, even just at home games, if it's sitting next to a younger player or talking to the team at halftime or whatever it is, that you'll try and show a little bit of leadership, especially for girls who maybe haven't played as many games or even new to the league, especially in the first couple of games. Just chatting to them and making sure that they felt ready and that, you know, they had the support of all of us as well. But yeah, it's been a different aspect to try and lead from the sidelines, but I think it's been a good developing moment for me, because sometimes it's easier to lead on the field. You can kind of lead by example and lead by playing football, and that's kind of something I've always done, was just leading by example, whereas now I've kind of had to reflect and work out different ways to lead from the side or even from home if I'm not on the away trip. So it's been a good development for me to learn those new skills. It's hard because, you know, we've come off having a couple of not so great years, and we've all worked so hard to get into a position where that doesn't happen again. And then for the girls to actually be doing so well, and then I'm on the outside, I have to just watch it, which is, it's hard because internally I'm so proud. Like, I think they deserve everything that they're getting right now. But on the inside, I'm also like, but I just want to be out there playing with them. But I think it's helping me with my recovery, because it gives me something to play for. Like, I really want to get out and play with this group of girls who are doing so well. I feel like if we weren't doing well and I was having such a bad rehab, I would just be like, well, what's the point? I'll come back next year. So it's a bit of both. It's kind of driven me to really work hard on my rehab and get back into a point where I can be playing, because I want to play with this team, because they're so good and I want to be a part of that. So yeah, it's like both. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want to win. So even if I'm hobbling at the last grand final, I'll be there cheering in some form. But